Hello YouTube, I'm David with the David West channel. Well, in about 2 hours I'm going to Walmart pharmacy and get my first COVID-19 shot. I had a hard time finding an appointment for that. I was expecting to get a shot around the 20th because that's 2 weeks after I took my last Shingles shot, which is for, the Shingles vaccination. And you have to wait 2 weeks before you can get any other vaccination, which would have made it the 20th. So you go to Walmart's website and they tell you 6 days out from when you want an appointment, call and try to schedule one. So sure enough, on the 14th, I went to their website. There was no available appointments. And I kept running into that to where I started checking all the other Walmart pharmacies. Finally found one that had lots of open appointments, and so that's why I'm getting this COVID-19 vaccination on the 23rd instead of the 20th like I had expected. So let me turn the camera around and I want to show you this piece of pine that I laid up in this Nandina bush. You remember when I did all the bow drill videos last week that one of those videos was for Bradford Pear? And if you watch that video close enough, the first species that I identified that I wanted to use for bow drill was this piece of pine. And when I came out of the woods that's it right there. When I came out of the woods right here, before I went on my walk, I took and threw it on the ground and said, we'll leave it there until I come back. That's when I went on up the road and I found the Bradford Pear. So here, this piece has been sitting in that bush through those 2 days of soaking rain. And now we've had a couple of days of high wind, so I think it's dried out. You can still run through your checklist of considerations. Okay. The 8 things that you want to think about before you choose a specimen of wood for bow drill. And that is, how long has it been since it's rained? What's the humidity going to be like today? Are you familiar with this species? Does it make embers? Have you used the species in the past? Those type things. And then you also want to think about, well, is the specimen, did I find it? Is it up off the ground? Is the bark off of it? Has it been exposed to the drying elements of wind and sun? Is it nicely degraded? Years and years since it's broken off the living tree. And then does it have a part on it long enough and straight enough to make a good spindle? And that's what I'm going to use that up there for. Keep all these drops and put them on the fire. All right, let's straighten out the curve there. All right, I did not get 4 square sides because I didn't have to take anything off of this rounded side at all. Let's go ahead and true the spindle up. Man, that's just loaded with fat wood right there. That's going to increase the difficulty. So let's just leave a blunt point right there. All right, now we just need a fireboard. What is good and flat on here that we can use? Looks like this is flat right here. That feels pretty good. Let's make a flat on top. Since my foot is going right here, we'll make a flat right here. There's so much fat wood in this thing. Look at all that fat wood. And then on the spindle too. This would be a good test. We'll just have to keep working with it till it produces for us. Got some coarse pine needles, some fine pine needles, that wood bearing block. I'm going to reuse this bow. I think this was the crepe myrtle bow. Don't remember. And we got these drops that came off the pine. We'll use that to fuel the fire. We're good to go. Let's do a burn-in. Back, how about there? Lean into the front just a little bit. All right, pine on pine, pine needles, fueling the fire with the shavings that came off the set and the drops that came off of the pine branch.
Lean it to the back just a little bit.
All right. Go ahead and cut my notch. Everything's looking pretty good so far. Just the least little touch up here. Take that corner off so it can plunge down in the board better. I didn't hear any squeaking, which would be signs of resin or moisture, so we might be good here. I think I will take advantage of a fresh divot. In my fat wood bearing block. And my breathing is restricted somewhat because of the short spindle. Make sure this is still tight. It is. Now let's just take our time with it and see if we can get an ember. Had to hold my shirt in my mouth so I could see where my sheath was at. I think that was about 180 strokes, something like that. Let me catch my breath. Like I explained on another video, it's not that I'm out of shape, it's that when I use a short spindle, my stomach restricts my diaphragm and I can't take full breaths. But a pine ember, it needs a long time to coalesce, so we have plenty of time. Look at how great that fatwood barren block is. You know, nobody mentioned it when they watched my Bradford Pear bow drill video. Nobody mentioned that I had first, in the beginning of that video, laid aside this pine branch here. I'm not sure there's a whole lot of people watching my videos all the way through. According to my analytics, on a good video, they only watch, y'all only watch about 50% of it, so. Very close to that backside. I kept leaning it though. I saw that it was making its way to the backside, so I'd lean it over this way. And vice versa. It had to, the drift of the divot definitely had to be managed and steered, if you will. Let's put it in these fine pine needles. Got that wind blowing on it. With these coarse pine needles, they're just full of sticks. get over here since the wind is going to blow it back on me like that. Well, that really worked out great. I'm gonna go get my shot at Walmart. It should be about time to leave, so we'll come back to this shot of where the wood finally caught flame, and we'll use that for an outro. All right, y'all. I appreciate you joining me on this one. We'll catch you on the next one. Well, they got an assembly line going on here. One lady to take care of all the paperwork. Another lady over here setting up the shots, getting them out of the vials. Got two chairs right there, one and one right there for two different places for him to give the injection. And plenty of waiting area. So I was supposed to be here at 10:20. I don't mind waiting. I'm happy to get my shot. A little timer. They want to make sure they don't pass out in the next 15 minutes. So I'll be hanging out for a few more minutes.